Give me a D and a G. It's the Dawg Gus Show. It's the Dawg Gus Show.
Welcome to the Dawg Gus Show. Now on Be Kind Radio.
Certainly is.
What do you say, my friend?
I say we've got an amazing person we're going to chat with for about an hour today.
Yes. Hi, Olivia Penalva. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So great to see you.
I appreciate
We've heard lots about you, so we're excited to get into it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. So we notice you've crossed hundreds of millions of streams on Spotify. Does that actually feel real or kind of surreal still?
Definitely surreal. I feel like it's so amazing to have that support, but you see the numbers and you're like, huh? Like it doesn't ever really hit you, but it's quite amazing. It allows me to keep doing what I'm doing. And so I'm super happy.
Nice.
So what's changed the most in your life since these things started taking off?
I mean, I started doing this since I was so young. So it's definitely been such a nice kind of gradual growth in my career, but just the people I've met and that I've gotten to work with throughout my career, and just even how my own songwriting and music has evolved over time, and having that support and just feeling like I want to keep sharing my stories with the world is definitely such a fun and cool thing.
Yeah, that's it must be cool. You're doing what you love, so it's a great thing to be doing. What's something about you people would never expect?
I don't know. I mean, I love Marvel movies. I don't talk about that a lot because mostly I just post about music and whatever, but I love Marvel and Star Wars and Lego and all those things. So my office is also, you can only see my guitars, my studio, but I also call it my nerd room because I have all my random things in random places, and they keep me sane in the moments when I'm not doing music and just want to chill and do something. I do some Lego, watch a movie, and I'd say that's something I don't talk about very often.
Fair.
Yeah.
Which Marvel movie have you watched the most?
I mean, probably the Iron Man movies and Avengers and Endgame, but a good twice a year, I'll go in chronological order and I'll rewatch them. This time I had to skip a few because there's just too many now. But
I was going to say, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of them.
Well, not to mention, I love that you do that because I was going to ask that because I've done it before. I think during COVID, I was like, I'm just going to watch them all in order. And it's great how it all ties together when you do it like the proper way, even when they've been released after another one, right?
Totally. It's so much fun. And it's kind of like what I do with my music too. I love connecting the dots. So for me, watching the movies and seeing what's new and what's going to connect and who might be in this one, or like, especially the end credits scenes that they add to it that will tie to each movie. It's definitely a fun thing. And, it must take a lot of brain power to remember how many plot lines you've got going on that you need to connect.
That's right. Yeah, it's cool.
My favorite part is the Stan Lee when
Yes.
when he'd show up in the movies. There was just like the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, he'd
too
be
good.
like a janitor or something like
Yeah,
that in the background.
I like the one when he was the FedEx guy, Tony Stank. Is it Tony
Yeah.
Stank? Is Mr. Stank?
Exactly.
That was just like classic. So
good.
So good.
when did you realize that this music wasn't just a hobby anymore?
Definitely. It all feels like it happened so fast. I was like 11 years old and I started all of a sudden singing. And, it was actually my mom that pointed out that I could kind of do it, which I know in a lot of cases, sometimes it's like she just loves their kid too much. They're not that good. But we were in the car and I remember her being like, I was singing with my siblings and she's like to my siblings, can you guys kind of stop singing and Olivia keep going? So I did. And she was like, oh, you're actually kind of good. And I joked that must have gone to my head a little because all of a sudden I was signing up for all the singing competitions and getting a singing coach and trying to write songs. And from there, it kind of started to take off. And next thing you know, I released a Christmas song when I'm 14 and it goes all over the radio in Canada and hits top 20. And I'm like, what the heck? Maybe this is just something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And I haven't stopped since.
Yeah, at 16, you put out your first album. Like that's pretty impressive. Like, like we got a lot of artists that are like in their 40s that still haven't done that.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? So it's a very impressive track that you're on so far.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you. And I was really lucky. I had a lot of great musicians in my life who supported me and brought me in the room to write songs and learn. Because if you listen to my very, very first, like when I was 12 or 13 years old, I put out, I wouldn't call it my first official album or anything. I felt things so deeply, but I was so young, I couldn't relate to anything I was saying. And it's not the best music ever. And so to have that support and those people that were willing to bring me in the room because they saw something in my voice or saw something in the writing that maybe wasn't quite there at the time, but wanted to kind of help me and push me in the right direction. So I was very lucky.
Yeah. I think it may be speaking out of term here, but like because you were so young and you found it, maybe it helped because you didn't overthink it. You were just like, I'm just gonna go do it, right? And then and as opposed to some of the as age comes, we start questioning things, right? Do I do this or do I take care of this or whatever, right? So do you think that that's the case for you as well?
Totally. I would say I didn't think through much of that first project I ever really released. I remember actually because I had said I'm gonna do this project and put out a CD release concert and I'm gonna have my whole town come to it. And a few months go by, my mom's like, "Hey, like, where are the songs then? If you want to do this, you got to write the songs." And I remember at night I would just sit there and I wouldn't think through it too deeply. I would just write down whatever I was feeling in the moment. Even if, I remember I had a song called You're My Man, which what 12 or 13-year-old has a man? I didn't. It was about a boy at school, but I didn't really care too much or think too much through it. I just wrote what I was thinking at the time. And even then, like, not my best work, but I've just had such support from my community and it made me feel empowered enough also to just keep going.
Nice.
So your second album I was looking at was a bunch of covers. How did you like pick the songs that you wanted to cover? Because I'm sure there was more than just the 8 that you had on there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started doing covers so young. YouTube was the only platform that my parents would allow me to have at the time and highly monitored. And it was a way I could kind of get music out there and songs that I like. So I would do covers all the time. And when it came to that point, I started to realize that there was a lot of growth on my page and people finding me because of those covers. So I thought, why not put some of them together or add other ones that I love and put them out for those people. So kind of hard to choose the favorites, but it's funny because a lot of the time it'd be just a song I loved or a song that a family member, my sister specifically, would send to me and be like, "I think that you would sound good singing this. You should try it." And I'd put it out. And so it kind of made sense after all of the support and that I'd gotten from doing those covers to do a cover album or EP.
Like Hyatt, like John Hyatt. That was
Yeah.
what a choice. I was impressed, obviously, but also
Oh,
like kind of like how do you choose that one when you're under 20? You know what I mean?
I love
Even
that.
under 40, but
I had heard that song in two different ones. One was in the show Nashville, I think, years ago. And then it was in another movie that I watched, but my parents, since I was young, was like, if you're going to listen to music, like, here's the good stuff. So they showed me all these things. Like, I started singing at 11 years old. I was singing Nora Jones and all these artists that now I think are such a big part of why I sing the way I do and sound the way I do. I definitely give credit to them. They'd love to hear that.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great song. I love that song.
So good.
Do-
Well, at that age, I mean, 11 years old, I mean, that's where your music's coming from is basically from your parents and if you have older siblings, right?
Yep.
So that's where
100%.
all your influences are coming to begin with. So
It's true. It's
Yep.
true. Even for me. And then you find your own stuff too.
Totally.
What like first moment you thought, okay, this could actually work? Sort of like where was obviously you've kind of gone through your process a bit, but where did it sort of you got a little bit of momentum and you were like, okay, this is a real deal.
After that Christmas song, already a little bit of growth, but I think in 2016, I had put out a song called Skyline. And I remember at the time it was just an EDM remix. And I had gotten Bell Media Future Star for it. But I think it was the point where it had never happened, but I had gotten it 2 months in a row. And so when I got that call the second month and they're like, they loved this so much and they love you so much that they wanted to give you Bell Media Future Star 2 months in a row. And that was kind of an unheard of thing at the time. I think that's when I was like, okay, maybe I'm on the right track. Maybe I'm doing something right. And that was such a cool experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what was tell us about your first show.
My first show.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, what can okay, well, I can remember my first ever, it was a singing competition. And it's kind of around that time where I decided I'm just going to do this. I remember getting there that day and I'm like, I cannot get up on that stage. And my mom was like, okay, we can go home, but you might regret it. Like, you've been working really hard for this and you seem to want it. And I just don't want you to regret it. So I got up on stage, And I was so cute and little. I had a little tooth gap. I was dressed in like completely mismatched colors. And I was so shy. I remember like looking down the whole time and holding my hands together. I had no stage presence. But I got up there and I sang Nora Jones and I sang Bubbly by Colby Calais. And after I got off that stage, I remember walking off and being like, that I'm doing that forever. Like I loved it. It was so much fun. And I think hopefully since then I've learned a lot more stage presence because I look back at those videos and they're so cute. But, you know, I had a lot to learn at the time too.
For sure. And you were young. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad that you did it. So you got over the hump of the fear,
Totally.
right? Like I've said it on the show, but fear and excitement is the same feeling in your body. So it's like, if you can switch for your mindset from it being fearful as opposed to excited, it's a good switch. Is there a genre that we would be surprised, like any guilty pleasure music that you listen to that would shock us?
I don't think so. I listen to pretty much everything, but I've always had such a broad, you know, array of songs that I like. So I don't think anything too shocking. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of jazz music. Like that was specifically what my parents loved. And I remember when I was younger, they'd be like, you should sing this song. You should sing this song. And I definitely think that has maybe some influence in vocally how I sing sometimes now, but I don't think there's anything necessarily crazy that I could say that I listen to. It's a bit of everything.
Fair enough.
Possibly a jazz flavored album in the future.
It's on the list. It's on the list of things I want to do. Right now, my work is so like interconnected always to the last project. So we will get there. I just have a few things I want to do and say in the genre I'm working in right now before I take that step.
It's cool. It's cool
Mm.
that, you know,
She has a list.
yeah, she's talented. So that helps too, right? Like being talented helps. That's usually good.
It's usually a pretty good way to go if you're going to be, you know, singing and stuff. You might want to have some talent.
That's right. That's right.
That's what stopped us.
Well, we're talented in other ways.
We are.
Yes.
We're bringing talent in the sense that we're trying to bring talent out of like get to see us.
Yeah.
I don't see how I tripped all over that.
Yeah. Very well done. Yeah.
Yeah. What song or moment actually changed everything for you? Was it that stage presence moment, or was it a song that you did that you were like, "This is"?
Ooh. I mean, since I was so young, I was always encouraged to always be like truthful and honest in my music and be as authentic as possible because that is the way that more people are going to connect with you. So I always tried to do that in my music, but I think like I could even say up until my very last album, that was like the most blunt and honest I've ever been on a project, and seeing other people connect to that in the way that maybe like I needed to be connected to at that time was cool for me. So it was kind of cool that, you know, I've been doing this so long, but even it was just the last project where I could say like maybe my song Spiderwebs that I put out on that album is like really, really blunt and honest about experiences that I had gone through in the music industry. And it's kind of scary to put that out into the world because, you know, people are looking at your deepest, darkest thoughts, but to see people connect to it in that way, I'd say was a moment where I was like, hey, I'm doing the right thing by being honest about what I'm going through because someone else is also going through this.
At such a young age too. Yep.
Yeah.
I just completely lost where I was going with that.
Fair enough.
Did it
Best of
blow
us.
up?
It's just like, it's gone.
There it goes. La la la.
Don't get old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't get old.
Don't let it happen to you. Besides your parents loving jazz, are they musically inclined? Do they play instruments or?
My mom, oh, we always joked about it. I remember like she'd try to sing us a song and be like, you know the song. We'd be like, we have no clue what you're singing right now. My dad, no one plays instruments, but I definitely say like he could sing. I think he could sing if he tried. I could hear it when he's humming to himself. But no, they joke that they don't know where it came from. Both my siblings are quite talented too, and they could sing if they wanted to. They did not see themselves pursuing it as any sort of career.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's funny, eh?
I find it interesting because I mean, most people that have that kind of talent usually have someone that kind of, you know, oh, hey, you know, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That going on that, what did you do differently that most artists don't do?
As far as like vocal training or like
Just like your
songwriting?
process maybe and how you kind of got to that point, whereas some others don't. But you know, everybody's different. I was just interested in your take on it.
I don't know. It's funny because I would just sing, like I would not think through it too deeply. I did have a vocal coach, but I would literally go and just sing songs that I liked. I wasn't necessarily also training. It was just something that I guess naturally I was kind of doing, and I just wanted to sing songs. I didn't, like, I mean, a lot of people know how to read music charts and do all that stuff. I don't. I play by ear. I just can kind of like, I know what I'm singing, but I don't know if you were to show me on a chart, I'd be like, I don't know what that is. So maybe that I'd say I didn't take the route of, even a lot of artists still go to music schools. I didn't really do any of that. I just kind of dove deep into just singing and songwriting and hoping that it stuck.
Nice.
Fair.
Yeah.
Now, with the choices in songs, are you picking them for the vocal, like the way that you sing? Do you understand what I'm asking here?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not sure.
For me,
Sounds
it's
right.
like, I mean, as far as whether they're covers or original songs, it's always about how they make me feel. Like I could write a song where and put out a song where like vocally maybe it was my better take or whatever, but it's the song has to make me feel something. I could sing a song that's like super poppy and about something super generic and it won't connect to me. And I feel like I do sing better if I feel it. And that's like the same thing for covers. It has to, I used to love, I still do sad music because it just made me feel something. So oftentimes a lot of the songs you would see me put out, whether originals or covers, they can kind of be sadder just because I feel like if I'm more emotionally invested into them, I will sing them with more heart, I guess.
Yeah. I have a question, like going on that, like, you know how art, even like paintings and music and all the finest art is all done through an emotion that's usually sad. Like, like if you look at Van Gogh and he painted after his wife and child died and this and this. Why do you think that is? What brings that emotion? Is it just the outlet of it to get it out, or is it? What do you think? What do you think about that?
I do think it's the outlet because sometimes, you can be stumped on like there have been times where I'm like, I need to go outside. I need to live a little life. I have nothing, I've been writing for months straight. I've got nothing left. And then something happens or you have some feeling about something or you think back on a certain experience and then all of a sudden the song is just it's kind of there and it pops out. So I do feel like it's quite an outlet and I feel like music is just such a way that we can connect to people as well through shared experiences. So 100%, I think it's based on an outlet.
Now, do you ever look back at that first album you did and think, I want to go back and redo everything on that album?
Mm,
Or are you happy with what you put out at that age?
I think I'm happy with what I put out at that age. I listen back and I'm like, I have the sweetest little baby voice. Like she was just a baby. And I mean, there's the one song in particular that for fun I would love to re-record was my first Christmas song that I had put out because I think that's one of those songs that every year people still love. And I think it's just fun and it could be a fun experience now of me as an adult to with my more mature voice do it. But I think I gotta let those other ones just live and be what they were.
That's a good answer. Did your success come with pressure right away?
I don't think so. I had a lot of people in my career who were always telling me like this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And because I was so young, like I always just wanted to again write about like deep things and heartbreak and whatever it was. I had a lot of people in my corner reminding me like, you're 14 years old. That will come. Like at the time I, sing about Ferris wheels and things that made maybe a bit more sense to the age at the time. And I think the pressure definitely came a lot later when I was older. My team kind of switched up who I was working with. The more people you have following you, also the more pressure publicly to share more. And especially with the way that social media is nowadays, you have to artists almost have to be influencers now, which was a big battle for me because I love sharing my life through music, but sometimes you don't want to spell it out and be like, this is what I'm going through on the internet. You want people to hear it and take it, for how they hear it, like however it applies to them. And I think that also just adds a whole new pressure to people. It's not, you already have to record songs, write songs, do shows, get yourself out there. Now all of a sudden you have to film yourself and edit those videos and at home and like whatever you're talking about, all these other things and elements and every new platform that comes, it's a new thing. So I'd say the pressure definitely escalated as I got older.
What what that's like to be, on a platform and talking to people?
Well, it's a key part, unfortunately, for many local artists or, like people that aren't quite, you've got some momentum, you're doing great. But a lot of the artists that we speak to are kind of in that bubble of they are so talented, but they just can't get it out there fast enough or, use the social media platforms, which unfortunately is a big part of it. Right. And that's even for us. I mean, we do our own social media, but it's like, some of it's fun and then some of it's really key about being local and taking care of Canadian music and whatever else, right? It's Yeah, like, how do you find that? Are you finding that a challenge when you have to do a video or a reel all the time just to kinda to stay, top of mind?
I think it's tough because it's gotta be like it's not just what you post, it's the amount that you post and, you can
Yeah.
fall out of the algorithm so quickly. There was a period of my life where I'd gone through a lot in the industry and I was like, "I do not even wanna be seen online," and when it was time where I was ready to start going again and start posting, it was almost like the platforms, they punish you a little bit, like because 'cause you're not in the algorithm, you've really gotta work to get back in there. So it is definitely a bit of an added stress. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned just from working with so many different people and so much advice on how social media works, and everyone's got a different opinion, but also because of how fast the trends do change, is just to try to be authentic to who you are and whatever you're posting and not think too deeply about it because sometimes you'll post something and maybe nobody sees it but they'll find it like months later. So you kind of do just have to keep going and the right people will find it at the right time.
Yeah, it's a weird system, the algorithm, and I was mentioning Dog because we DM'd you just to send you the link here just
Yeah.
in case you didn't get it, and Dog's like, "Oh, there she is." She pops up, and I was like, "That's the algorithm. If you message someone, they come up first." It's same with when someone yeah, it's a you gotta figure it all out. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we do that Gus does that I really don't care for, but he makes me do it anyway. So
Well, that's different. That's just for fun.
no, but you're keeping us in people's minds, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah, but you don't like you're like, "Just don't look at me.
yeah,
Don't look at
just
me."
look,
Yeah,
just
and
look over
I'm
there, and
like,
I'll.
"Look at me." It's a good, yin and yang.
You mentioned a little bit earlier about writing honestly and like your experiences within the industry. What's the biggest lie about the music industry that you feel is out there?
Lie. I mean, most of what you see on the internet in general is fake. I feel like we're all just trying our best to do the same thing and put ourselves out there. And lie, though, that's tough. A tough question. I think nothing is as perfect as it seems. And, whether you have like 0 followers or 100,000 followers, it's the same kind of journey for everybody who's trying to put themselves out there. Like it's just the same grind, I guess I could say. But lie, that's a tough thing. I don't know. I think, yeah, I'm not sure if that was a good answer, but
Well, it is.
coming to
No,
my
it's
brain.
fine.
It was a good answer. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do you think that artists actually have to play the game to win?
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of that. I feel like that's something I've also learned as I got older. A good example, I think, is, I talk about writing authentically, but sometimes people just want a love song that isn't also that deep. And there's this battle of do I, make music that's super, let's use pop for an example. I mean, it's such a broad genre, but like super poppy and like maybe doesn't have the most depth in the lyrics, but will it get me into the next door? Versus do I want to write something that maybe isn't as radio friendly, but is like the most honest thing I've worked on? I've learned that you can kind of play it a little bit by writing songs that you can mask a little bit to be a love song, but are still, if you look deeper into the lyrics of them, about your life and yourself. But I do feel like there is a little bit of that playing the game. I still question that where I'm like, sometimes, if I do these certain things, would it progress my career faster? But I also feel like, like thinking about that marathon rather than a sprint thing. And, I'm still so young and there's still so much time. And I rather grow slowly and honestly than do something that I'm not generally so proud of just to get myself in the door further.
Makes sense.
Yep. And that comes right to the next question is like, have you ever been pushed to be somebody that you're not?
Definitely. I think part of being in this industry is learning that not everybody you work with necessarily cares about you. They see you as a product, and that's a tough thing because when you're working with someone especially closely, like you have to trust them wholeheartedly and it's difficult. And I've definitely worked with people who wanted me to be that stick figure, blonde, doesn't have any opinions about anything, just sings, and the songs don't need to be that deep. Maybe they're more risque because that grabs attention. Like I've definitely experienced that. And that was a big battle that I had gone through in early 2020 to maybe even 2023, trying to navigate keeping my voice and standing up for myself and maintaining who I was. And I'll say I definitely experienced like a complete identity crisis and loss because at core, I'm a bit of a people pleaser and want to keep the peace and have a good relationship with the people that I work with. But at the same time, if the cost is like losing yourself completely, it's not worth it.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
It's hard to maintain that, and I think that's really commendable. So good for you.
Oh, I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. How much of success do you think is talent versus marketing versus luck? And just because we're finishing up this little segment, but that's sort of our last question on that.
It's tough because there are so many talented people out there that do not get the recognition. I do feel like a lot of it is luck, and if you have the right people on your team and even the money to back it up, I'd say the marketing thing, it's huge nowadays. Every movie you see or every movie that was out 20 years ago, even you look at like how marketing is just such a huge thing. So I'd say it's a big mix of them all, but truthfully, I wish it was still those times where it was just completely based on, because I think we'd hear so many more amazing artists.
So true. So true. And we see it all the time. We talk about it all the time. Like in Ottawa, like we have a really good community here of musicians, and it's the talent is so good. Like you think this could be, people would love this if it got out there, and it just can't, like it's just on the cusp of getting to the next level. Like I think
Totally.
that's one thing we talk about a lot, actually.
Yeah, we're trying to break that glass ceiling here and get some of the talented people in this city to be recognized elsewhere besides like here.
Yeah.
Totally.
And-
And they deserve it.
Yeah.
They do.
And
Yeah.
their hard work, like, it's just like every artist that we've spoken to, and it's like we wish them the best. We want them to be as successful as they want to be.
Yeah, because our podcast would blow up if that was
Yeah,
the case,
man.
you know what I mean?
It's all about us, but we're just trying to be as humble as we can.
Yeah, humility. That's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's certainly you.
Yeah, I am humble
Uh-huh.
in many ways.
Yeah. Okay, Mac Davis.
Yeah.
Get the reference.
I do. Thank you.
All right. Are your songs more emotional or strategic?
I'm going to say there's a 50-50 there, because everything I write is super emotional, but it's also like, I had said earlier, the projects are so interconnected as my life goes on. So there's definitely, as far as strategy, in a sense, it's like, okay, I didn't close the store here. I talked about this feeling back here. I'm going to share where I am now. And it still is true to the maybe emotion that I was feeling then or I'm feeling now. I'd say 50-50.
Do your best songs come from pain or from clarity?
Ooh, I love that question. I would say maybe pain, because those are the moments where, like, even if I'm just frustrated and I'm driving in the car thinking about something, it's like the light bulb goes off and it's like, there it is. I find often like it's looking back later at those songs where I'm like, whoa, like it's actually crazy how you could write a song in a moment and it's from the pain you're in, and later you understand it more than you did when you wrote it. So I'd say pain.
Okay, you're freaking me out a little bit because that went right into the next question.
Uh,
Seriously, it did. It's like, what's the lyric you wrote that hit you after?
Oh,
So
that
you're
hits
reading your
you
mind.
after. Okay, there's so many. I had an EP come out, and it was called Assembly Required. And that song in particular, I don't know about a specific lyric, but it was just funny because at the time I wrote it, it was almost like the feeling was more that I had a lot of work to be done. And it was this idea of, if you met me now and you wanted to be with me, like there's some work, there's some assembly required. Like it's going to be a bit tough because of everything that I'm feeling, that I've gone through. But at the time, I think it was more a projection of how like I wanted to feel. And later on, after I'd experienced kind of the worst of the worst, and I re-listened to that song, I'm like, oh, now this song relates to me even more. I'm also learning in life, like there's always constantly work to be putting into yourself. Every experience you go through changes you a little bit, and there's always something to be assembled, or not necessarily fixed, but worked through. So I'd say that song in particular relates to me a lot more now.
She's so grounded, man. It's like it's like
Well, you know what? I look back and think when I was 26, I wasn't even close.
no, yeah.
I don't think I am right now either.
No phones, man. That
Yeah,
was
man.
like a good time. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah, man.
you call someone on their landline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And remember their number.
that's right. I don't remember anybody's number now, but I remember numbers from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like friends' numbers, like I can still tell you.
That's
It's
crazy.
weird. Yeah, it's
I love
weird.
that.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like in my head. I know how to put a chain on a bike too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow, you're talented.
I don't even
You're
know how to do
so
that.
talented.
Hey, a lot of people don't know how to do that. So when you write, is it for yourself or for your audience?
I think both in a sense, but I guess always first for myself. It's whatever I just want to like purge out in the moment. And, as artists, we do say a lot, like we release music because we want other people to feel understood and connected. But a big thing I've learned in the last few years, especially of just living life and experiencing trauma, even the good things, all the bad things, is when we release music, like for me at least, it's also so that I feel understood. So I think there's kind of both sides to that. So I'd say at first, definitely maybe a little more for me. They're like little diary entries. You don't know if you're going to release what you're writing in the moment. So definitely from myself, and then with the hopes later that it does connect someone, but also connects me to those experiences as well. It makes the artist feel a little less alone as well.
Isn't it awesome?
Yes, I'm just like,
Yeah. Can I ask a fun question just in between?
of course you can.
May I?
It's partly your podcast.
Half and half. We have a funny question. Okay, so you just robbed a bank, all right? And
Okay.
you're getting in the getaway car
Okay.
and you're driving away. What song is playing as you're driving away?
I feel like the most obvious thing that just came to my mind because you said the words getaway car is Getaway Car by Taylor Swift, because it's literally about, stealing the bag and you got the money and the keys. And you're getting in the car and you're driving away. So off the top of my head, I guess I would have to say that one.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was very quick too. It's like, didn't have to think about it too
No.
much. Yeah.
No, can I ask on that as well? Swiftie? Are you a Swiftie?
I definitely admire her writing so much. I was lucky I got to go the Eras tour, and what I loved about that is I felt like a kid again. Just, it was like one of those moments in my life. I was like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to have fun again. So I, throughout that time in my life, really appreciated her music. And I think she also writes from a place of just really being authentic and honest with herself. If you listen to like Folklore, I think that is one of my, we were talking about lyrics earlier that like stick with you or remind you about life. There's a quote that she has that says, if you never bleed, you're never going to grow. And for me, as a young female artist who's gone through a lot in the industry, hearing from another female artist who is like the biggest thing right now, but has gone through so much, a line like that, I think is just such a good reminder that it's true. Like sometimes things get messy before they get better. So I'd say I'm definitely a big admirer of her work and her writing.
Yeah, she's done a few things.
She's special, yeah. A lot of people hate on her, but she's not.
I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, the more like I work with kids at a school, and I have a little program we do there, and it's I have a radio station, internet, and I have a show that's called Dance Hall Dragons, and it's basically the kids that have come to me and said, I want to do this. So they pick their songs. We do a 2-hour show, and I'm listening to a lot of Taylor Swift lately, and I'm just like, and I never listened to it before because I never had the reason to. But I mean, I'm listening to it, and I'm like, wow, it's good, and it's
Talented.
like I'm not a 16-year-old girl, but I'm still like the talent level is like up here.
You ever hear the story about her dad buying her like one of those long buses that you guys a tour van, like a big one though, like a tour bus, and didn't have the money, right? But so he goes to the dealership and they're like, what are you getting this for? He's like, oh, I have a daughter, she's going to be the biggest star in the world. And
Wow.
And like they said, well, okay, do you have 60 grand or not? And he's like, no, I have to finance it. But now that she's worth $1 billion, I wonder if she probably gave it back, right? Because he manifested that for her.
Yeah,
She's going to be the biggest star.
And I think it's also like a big thing is having the support in this industry of your family, your parents. I think when I see people who don't necessarily have that and they're killing it, even if they're maybe not at the top of their game, they're just struggling. Like I just, oh my God, I don't know how they do it because it's so hard to do it. I think I would have lost my mind without having my parents in my corner, supporting me and also just raising me to be humble no matter what I go through. But it is such a tough industry. So I think you can also, I'm not going to speak for her, but like having the success she's having and having the support of your parents is like so hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think it's paramount.
He's like a farmer or something. Like he's just like I'm going to buy this tour bus for him.
Well, I mean, that's what parents do when they believe in you, right?
She was pretty talented young too. So
not like I'm saying, same thing, right? Like 14, 13 or 14.
Olivia's coming up.
That's it. Olivia's our Canadian Taylor Swift. Let's go.
Oh, we've said it here first. We said it here first.
The bar to set, but I appreciate it, and hopefully, maybe one day I can meet it.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Okay, here's a question I like to ask because of singer-songwriters. Which would blow your mind more? Playing a show, say a couple thousand people, and they're singing one of your songs back to you, or having somebody like I don't know, Norah Jones or somebody record one of your songs?
Okay, that's a big question.
It sure is.
I mean, both would be amazing, but I think that feeling of when writing something that other people, like the audience is singing back to you, like that's a feeling that I don't think you can like quite explain. You made that and it's connected with them and they know every word. Like that would be a dream of mine to play a show where everyone in the crowd can sing it back to me. So I think I'm going to have to go with that one. As cool as it would be for Norah Jones to sing my song.
Yeah.
I think that's the prognosis we get a lot.
I mean, it's 99%. That's the answer we get.
It
certainly does. Yeah.
I think it'd be more, you're connecting with the people that are actually connecting with you, right? So someone just singing your song. How do you handle the expectations after success?
I mean, it's hard. I've gone through phases in my life where I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, look at what I'm doing. I'm capable. I can do anything. And then there's moments where I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? There are so many expectations on me. And I mean, I think, even referencing before, we were talking about working with people who maybe have certain expectations for you to be certain things. I'd say in those situations it was definitely so much harder because you can't live up to every expectation everyone has. You have to just be authentic to who you are and not like try to be someone else. So I think, I don't know, you just really have to try to be authentic to yourself and not forget about that along the way, because I think the expectations only grow the more success that you have.
Okay, you're not 26, you're like 45. My goodness.
I love that.
She's well read.
Besides your parents, who else keeps you grounded?
I mean, my friends, my fiance, I've been with him since literally forever, like 11 years now, since I was in middle school. And I think having that relationship and just being able to be young and a kid and grow up with somebody and have, my life's not that crazy, but like have a normal life while also doing this, because this career sometimes feels like what am I doing? I could be working a 9-to-5 job. Maybe that wouldn't make me happy, but like I'm traveling everywhere. I'm doing all these crazy things. I'm meeting amazing people, but I definitely say all of those people have kept me super grounded.
You would hate the 9-to-5. You would hate it. And
I would hate it. I would hate it. There's part of me that sometimes I'm like, oh, I could have a small, quiet life and just do that. And then I wake up and I'm like, I live such a luxury to be able to wake up and have, work for myself and write music and do what I love. And why would I ever trade that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't even start thinking about that stuff.
God, no. That's not even in your. That's not even in your space. Like, just do this and get it out of there. Right
Listen, no. For all the time that we've known you, you better not.
Yeah, all 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you have to top your last release?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think too. I mean, especially in this era that I'm in right now in my life, my last project was something so much of just needing to purge out feelings and get them out. I didn't really care what happened with it. I just wanted to kind of share the music that I had made when I was at some of the lowest points in my life. And now I feel like where I'm sitting is like, I want to top that in the sense of I'm now ready, like whatever comes at me, more audience, more whatever, I'm ready for it now. And I want the music to speak for the growth that I've experienced in my life. And I feel like too, every year that I get older, like obviously you learn more. So the music becomes maybe a little more complex and deep, and it also changes. Like I may have said something a few years ago and feel completely different about it now. So I definitely think there is the pressure to top it. But it's a fun pressure.
Yeah. If you weren't doing music, what would you be doing? We just kind of talked about that a little bit.
I said this the other day. I love dogs. They're my favorite animal. I love my dogs. My dream is to have a herd of wiener dogs. And I think there's, I would love to have like a rescue of some sort. If I could, I would just be saving dogs because they need the love. And I love the dogs. So I think that's probably what I'd be doing. And otherwise, I don't know. I like to plan a party. Maybe I'd be a party planner, but I think I can do that and still do music at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What's the hardest part about being at this level now?
My goodness, the hardest part, I don't know. I don't feel particularly where I am right now that things are necessarily, I'm in a phase where everything I'm doing right now just feels fun and real and authentic and not necessarily too hard, but and just I want the music to just really connect with other people and show, I guess, my growth over this time. And so I think it's hard sometimes to put that out in a way that everyone's going to love, but also not everyone is going to love everything I make.
Your story.
Yeah.
Has success made music more fun or stressful?
Right now, more fun. Definitely more fun because, like I said, I'm ready for it. I think when you're, like we talked about earlier, the internet is a scary, hard place. And I think early on too, when I was kind of being controlled or shifted to be in, a certain person in my career, that was definitely harder for me because it didn't feel authentic to who I was. Whereas now I'm like, bring it on, whatever it is, because I feel like the music and speaks for itself. I've presented myself exactly how I want to be as who I am. And I welcome anyone who wants to come celebrate and listen with me.
Great answer. She's
Thank
crushing
you.
it.
Crushing.
Here's some weird ones, okay? Weirdest fan interaction or DM?
Weirdest
Not
fan
ours. Not ours from today. Not ours.
there was a period of time where there was a gentleman who would send me just photos of his face and no context.
That's so strange.
Yeah, it was strange. In one email, I remember him saying something about how he liked it, how pretty I was in a video, and I was like 14, and I'm reading this at 25, being like, maybe you shouldn't be writing that down to me.
Yeah.
That's probably blocked. That's definitely probably the weirdest ones. And that's definitely the weirdest one, I have to say, hands down.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, can't
I
get
have
worse.
daughters. I have daughters. Anybody
Yeah.
goes in their DMs, I'm gonna
Yeah,
snap.
can't get, and I'm so
Snap.
right, and I'm so protective over younger me now that I've found my voice. So it's like you see that and you're like, ew, like absolutely
Totally.
not.
As some of the young people say, it gives you the ick.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that's a definite ick right there. Let me
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah. Not a word I use very often, except for here.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Same,
Yeah.
right?
I love it.
Gonna do a little rapid fire.
I will ask her the other one.
Okay, what's something you've done that felt like, holy shit, this is my life moment?
That's a thinker. There was, what year was it? It doesn't matter. I was like maybe 18 years old. I went out to, it was kind of just full circle because I got invited out to, it was an event for young artists called Artist Max in LA. And it was run by Ken Calais, Colby Calais' dad. It was kind of full circle because that was the first song I ever performed live for anybody, was his daughter's song. So to be there was quite cool with all these younger artists. And also to have David Foster, who's just so talented, come and speak to us, I think, as young artists and like play music. That was quite a cool experience. Yeah, I mean, and then I think the other craziest thing I can say that I was super proud of is one of my songs a few years back for the first time had charted into the US for the first time. I'd only ever released to Canadian radio. So to see it kind of step over into a new audience was quite cool because it's hard to break through there. So that was definitely one of those moments too, where I was like, okay, like pinch me.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Rapid fire. So studio or stage?
I'm not fast at rapid fire. I'm gonna say studio.
Alone or co-write?
I'm
So
gonna
writing
say
alone or
co-write.
having a co-writer. Yeah.
Co-write. Okay. Hit song or cult fan base?
Cult fan base.
Fame or freedom?
Freedom.
Freedom. Give me
Yeah,
freedom.
freedom.
That's a great song. by the
100%.
way. What's next for you right now?
What's next for me? I'm making a ton more music right now, and I'm just gearing up to get that ready to share with the world. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm excited. I think I've never been more excited about music that I'm putting out. So it's going to be a fun chapter.
Yeah. What should people be paying attention to with you?
Paying attention to, I'm going to say that they should pay attention to, firstly, the lyrics, because they're so interconnected. Like, listen to the past stuff if you're going to listen to the new stuff, and just visually everything I'm doing. I treat it so much like chapters in a book. Like, visually, everything is so tied together. So I would just say, if you're going to pay attention to anything, it's just all those little artistic liberties and choices are very much purposeful and intended.
Nice. I'm going to ask you, is there a dream venue for you?
Dream venue. I mean, I guess I haven't thought too deeply about that before. Honestly, any venue, I'm just excited to get out there and play this new music. So there's not one in particular I can name.
Come on, there's got to be a dream place.
I mean, I could say Grand Ole Opry just because I think that I love Nashville. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah.
Let's say that one.
That's a good
choice. Yeah.
Yeah. We agree.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What about a dream collaboration?
Dream collaboration. Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say Elton John. I love that guy. I love his music since I was super young, and I know his last tour was supposed to be his last tour, but I would love to do something with him.
He's probably gonna do another tour.
Yeah, that's.
I think as long as he can breathe and play the piano, he'll be touring.
Well, they got to play.
Yeah.
I could see you, the young Olivia listening to Tiny Dancer, you know, and she's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like living the dream. And that's not the creepy guy that sent you the faces.
No.
But
Right.
Tony Danza.
Tony Danza, yeah. We ask everybody the same question. We've done it since the beginning. There's 2 decades of music that we discuss. It's the 80s or the 90s. Which one would you choose and why?
Which one would I choose and why? You're giving me a tough question. I'm going to say maybe the 80s because just I grew up listening to more of the music from the 80s with my mom, with my dad. They, again, like they were the biggest reasons why I know half the songs that I do now. And a lot of music that I was first introduced to is probably from the 80s. So I would say 80s.
Are you shocked?
A little.
Is that controversial?
It's very, very,
No,
very.
no. It's very good for me.
Yeah. So we basically been going because the 60s, 70s, you know, everybody's kind of in agreement. Those are like Beatles, Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
Rolling Stones, you know, all the greats, Elvis.
Yeah.
And then these is his favorite music, and I have my 90s is mine. So we've incorporated that. Yeah. So where can people find your stuff other than do you do hard copies? You have a website? What do you
I have a website for sure right now on all streaming platforms, and in the future there will be hard copies, but not at this moment.
See, I wanted to ask that earlier because we find a lot of the younger artists out there. It's more about popping out singles on the streaming sites as opposed to building up stuff to make an EP, to make an LP, and then have the hard copies.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you go.
No, I'm so much about, like, I love a hard copy. I collect vinyls and I would love to. I mean, I've done some in the past and I feel like there's nothing cooler than creating a story or like what even, you know, if it's not so interconnected, just a bunch of songs that you made that you love and being able to hold them and be like, this is mine. Like I made this is so cool.
Yep.
Agreed.
And we want one. So you gotta make one.
I'll definitely get you guys one once they're ready.
Yeah, we both collect vinyl and
yeah, we're looking at mine right now.
Yeah, we're looking at yours.
Olivia, thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you. We wish you nothing but the greatest success. You're super talented, and we really enjoyed this hour. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Keep on keeping on. That's the best.
I would. Thank you.
Keep on keeping on. Wow.
Was that deep?
No.
Dawg Gus, Dawg Gus, Dawg Gus.